Hello everyone, welcome back to Games on Fast Forward. We got a bit of a special longer run this time. As you might have noticed, the longer runs were focused on like the beginning, but we got an extra long run, pretty exciting one in my personal opinion. We got Elden Ring Skill Showcase, just beat the game as fast as possible but not speedrunning way by xSkullcrusher. xSkullcrusher, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Skull or Skullcrusher, and I'm a big nerd for Elden Ring with over 1,000 hours, and I'm excited to come here and play this for you guys. With me, I have my commentator, Clad Statue 4. You want to say something?
Hello. Yeah, you might remember me from such events as that one Cuphead tournament I was a part of, and that's it. But I am glad to be here.
Yeah, the Skull Crusher's goal here is to beat the game in the most fun and unique way possible. Is that correct?
Essentially, I'm beating the game with my favorite build, but it's also one that I think is just more interesting than the usual like meta stuff that a lot of players use for speedrunning. So I
Yeah,
try to like mix it up a little bit and do it in my own way.
yeah, which can be very fun. Because one criticism I always had about speedrunning was like the elitism. Like if you don't use this, the strongest weapon possible, you're not good, and it's kind of stupid at times. But yeah, uh,
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd argue it's the other way around sometimes.
no, sometimes, but kind of besides the point.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, Skull Crusher, whenever you're ready, give me the countdown and I'll start your timer.
Okay. Let's go 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
All right. It's kind of funny right off the bat. I'm already making a choice the speedrunning community would find a bit weird, which is picking Vagabond as my starting class.
And
Just about
why is that?
everybody picks Samurai right off the bat because you get a bleed weapon that is pretty solid. But I think that the starting weapon in the Vagabond class is easily the most underrated weapon in the entire game. I think this is like super slept on, and people don't understand that the longsword is just utterly busted, but in like one of the most fun ways.
Oh yeah, I love the longsword personally. I used it for quite a bit in my initial Elden Ring playthrough, but yeah, it's a fun weapon.
Zach, your
Yup,
camera is frozen, by the way. Oh, never mind.
my
It
camera's frozen.
unfroze. It
Oh.
unfroze.
Okay. Right there, there's a purposeful death at the very start of the run because it's completely mandatory to die in that spot. So might as well just jump off the cliff and make it, quick.
Yeah.
Prior to this event, I've actually never really done a speed run of any game. So this is just something that I pretty much practiced especially for this. Um, Otherwise, I was just more of like a try hard challenge runner. Um, doing like I did a little bit of like a level 1 run. I've done a run without upgrading my weapon a single time. Um, I've done deathless run attempts, and my PB on that is 1 death. So, yeah, fun times.
Oh, and also that dagger only with no bleed run that we're doing together. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
participating in that, but yeah.
Yep, daggers only.
But thing is, I'm there as support.
Now, if you see me kind of jumping frequently in this run, jumping while sprinting gives you like a little bit of a burst of speed, and um, that just means that sprinting is a little bit less efficient than basically spamming the jump button over and over, which is kind of goofy.
Huh.
Here
I
we'll get
actually did not
the
know that.
goal. crafting kit right off the start, which we're pretty much not going to use until the end game content, for Godskin Duo. Have you ever watched like an Elden Ring run before, Mark?
Yeah, during last year's Games on Fast Forward, actually.
Oh yeah, a speedrunner, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I will not beat the game quite as fast as that, definitely not. But yeah, I will use an off-meta strategy, so that's kind of the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Something I was telling Clad before the run is that the build and the routes are things that I have just created myself. This is not like any kind of copy and paste thing that I got from other runners or YouTube, Twitch, like none of that. This is just stuff that I came up with. And the like optimal time of my runs, like my PB is like I believe about a 2-hour, 18-minute run. The only kind of or you can go ahead.
I was just about to say, now we get torrent.
Yep, getting right off the start to increase that mobility. I was gonna say the only kind of unfortunate thing about running Elden Ring is there's a little bit of downtime, for sure, where you're just riding around on torrent, your mount.
And that's why I'm here.
Yup.
Okay, maybe not just for that, but you know.
Yeah, so we'll try to yap a little bit to keep things interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So right here at the very beginning, essentially the main thing is just grabbing torrent and then getting some items for setup. Like creating the build a little bit. So that'll be like getting talismans, which are kind of like small buffs or upgrades, and just kind of like the routing, essentially. And then once we get like fully set up with the build, that's when it's pretty much just going to be boss rush simulator. This NPC, I mean, I don't know. If you know anything about the game, you're probably wondering why in the world I'm even bothering talking to him. And the mushrooms that he gives me are actually crucial in order to be able to craft sleep pots. And sleep pots are going to be extremely essential to deal with Godskin Duo, which is a 2v1 boss fight. So if you make one of them fall asleep, then that is the primary way of making that fight a bit more manageable and consistent. Which I've beaten them without using that strategy, and you're fully taking on the wrath of both bosses at the exact same time, but it's obviously much harder, and we're gonna go with like the consistent safe strat instead of like risking dying 10 times in a row, just to pour RNG and them like synchronizing their attacks without me being able to respond.
Oh yeah, which that boss right there, the Godskin Duo, is Skull keeps talking about. Yeah, they are kind of not very fun to deal with, in my opinion.
One of the, I think it was voted the community's like least favorite boss fight in the entire game.
Not very
funny.
surprising, to be honest. It's like when duo boss fights are done pretty well, they can be pretty fun, but in my opinion, that one's not done too well.
I mean, they have
back in the oven.
They have very specific mechanics that you're intended to like use for the fight. Like it's very manageable. It's just if you go in there blind, then yeah, it's definitely not going to go
Yeah.
well.
Like on repeat playthroughs, I definitely get that it's a boss that can be easily cheesed. But when you just like go in there like, oh, what's going on in here? And then you just die.
Yeah, it's more of a knowledge check than anything else, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's got a bit of skill involved, but it's more of a knowledge. Like Skull just said.
I think I might have just passed the item I was looking for. Hold up. Yeah, I definitely
What
did.
item are you looking for?
I'm gonna grab the green turtle talisman for extra stamina regeneration.
Oh, okay.
I believe it is
Oh
like
yeah, that talisman.
I believe it is a 17% stamina regen increase, and well, being able to have stamina more consistently is gonna help me keep up my like really aggressive strategy that I'm gonna be running.
I mean, this whole strategy that he's using he is so aggressive to the point where he sometimes just purposely takes damage just to control the fight.
Yeah, there's certain boss fights where I will just let them hit me as long as I can like, trade the attack properly and get like a free stagger on them and pretty much entirely keep the momentum in like my favor. All right. Gotta grab a couple of checkpoints here so I can more efficiently grab items. So over here, this is where the recipe is for sleep pots. So yeah, more the essential prep for like one of the difficult endgame boss fights.
It's that one boss we keep talking about.
Plus some little bonus money.
Yep. I should probably come here for that cookbook, honestly.
It's extremely valuable. All right. And then over here, I'll do what is like the most, or the first fight of the run, pretty much. There's an NPC right here, where if you kill him at the beginning of the game, then you can just get a nice armor set. Yeah. He's honestly kind of strong, but as long as you kind of keep the pressure on him, then usually it's okay.
Huge emphasis on usually, though.
I mean, you can say that for literally anything in the entire game with Elden Ring. It's a very punishing game where, I mean, in the majority of fights, I can only really make one mistake at a time. If I make two in a row, then that's death, like, for sure.
Yeah, he's done so unless he already drank his Kool-Aid.
Okay, so with that guy dead, we do have that armor upgrade, which it's probably not going to make a substantial difference. It's gonna just, probably give me roughly, I would say, what, 2% more physical resistance to attacks. But honestly, that does make a difference. There are times where I have, like, won a fight in this game, rocking a whole 10 health left or something.
What are you playing at? This is no time to celebrate.
And then this NPC, Alexander, one of the community favorite NPCs, just so happens to drop what is arguably the best talisman in the entire game. So we're definitely going to snag that. That'll increase my Ash of War damage by 10%. And your Ash of War is like your weapon's like primary skill, like your largest source of damage. So increasing that by 10% is like a considerable margin for sure. That'll help me quite a bit against some bosses.
Yeah, which part of Skull's whole strategy here is to spam the square off Ashapor. So I think you can see how that's effective.
Yep. It's one of the attacks that does the most stance break damage to enemies in the entire game. There are plenty of enemies that can only get hit by it like 2 times, and then they're completely vulnerable.
Yippers. Like, for context, chat, this the square off's heavy version does 40 poise damage, and a boss like Margit only has 80 poise. So you do that twice and they're staggered, like Skull was saying earlier.
Yep. On boss fights, I'm probably just not going to talk a whole lot, just to try to focus a little bit more.
Yeah, I won't be talking as much as well, for that exact reason. As I'm talking right now.
But this is one of the most bullyable bosses in the entire game, honestly, so...
So, yeah, I don't think Skull needs to really lock in for this one.
No, not at all. So, that boss kill, while, not mandatory, drops, another extremely good talisman that I think is very underrated.
What the Sorry.
I was about to explain. So it's called the Assassin's Crimson Dagger, I believe. Yep. And basically that'll allow me to heal every single time I get a riposte on an enemy. So, I like stagger them or stun them, and that will reward my regression with like free healing, basically. So that'll allow me to like keep up the pacing throughout fights, and if I can constantly just maintain aggro, and not have to stop to like chug a healing flask then. So right up here, I'm just gonna grab a checkpoints in the next area, and it is the next region I need to go to get some weapon upgrades. And I mean, just grabbing like upgrades early on is going to help me kind of snowball and kill some of these early game bosses pretty fast, and keep that time up later on. So pretty much the entire early game here is a little bit of an investment. Gathering things in order to be more consistent or to kill bosses more efficiently. There is a church up here that we can grab really fast, and it's just completely like along the route, and that'll give me a upgrade to my healing flask.
I'm honestly kind of surprised you didn't die of full damage right there.
And now that it doesn't even do enough to damage your stamina, surprisingly. That's like a pretty reasonable fall. The game is kind of like goofy. Sometimes things like look like they're far away, but you can actually survive the fall, or you'll take like a tad bit of health damage, but it's like manageable.
And then other times, it looks like you can jump down there, but it turns out, no, you can't.
So I will grab this checkpoint really quick. And then we'll teleport back to start grabbing a couple more essential things. So the number one reason I need to go out here is for the Dectus Medallion, which is basically just a main item that'll allow me to progress in the game. There are workarounds where like you do not necessarily have to grab it, but those require boss kills that would take up extra time in the run. And personally, I think that I would I would do it the fastest by grabbing this item instead. Okay. So grab this. I just rode past it for a second. But those crystal tears will be for my physics. So we'll mix those in to get some kind of minor buffs. This is another area that nobody really goes to for the speed run, but it'll let me grab something for my weapon that's essential for later on. I can put frostbite on my weapon around the mid game of the run, because of my little visit here. Were you gonna ask what the crystal tears do?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
So, there's two different ones. The first one will give you a small bump in stamina. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but you'll just see, my stamina bar will get just a little bit bigger. And between that and the green turtle talisman, that'll pretty much ensure that I'll never run out of stamina for rolling or for attacking, and, allow me to keep up the pace as I keep, talking about. The other crystal tier, the charged crystal tier, I believe it's called, will increase my charged heavy attack damage by about 10%, I believe. So just a small buff. But honestly, we're picking that up mostly for the jump in stamina more than anything.
Oh, by the way, Skull, your camera stopped working actually. Just noticed.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want me to stop and try to reset it, or?
You can get to a safe place and we can reset it real quick.
Okay, got it.
Somewhere like here.
Okay.
That's kind of that's never happened before.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like doing that.
That's funny.
Now.
We've done practice and setup and stuff, and it's never done this.
Skull also streams as well. So.
It's interesting. When I join, it just says no signal for some reason.
Okay, I'll disconnect you and you can try and reconnect.
Oh. Okay. I think I just got it to work there for you.
Alright.
Do you see it now?
It's loading. Still loading.
Alright, I'm looking at it now. I see it, but then it froze again. For some reason. I don't know. I've never had that issue before. I don't really know why that's happening.
Then can you turn on the camera in Discord? We can just improvise real quick.
Okay.
It's not the best solution, but it's like a solution.
Yep.
Alright, thanks.
You...
Oh, it says Elgato.
Do you see me there? So I guess that's just some kind of, I don't know, issue on my end. I'm not sure why. It's weird. We've practiced this twice, and I've never had that issue.
Well, I can just replace your camera with like an avatar of you talking if you want it instead.
Yeah, maybe that's unfortunately the better option instead of pausing the run to try to resolve it.
Right, and you'll get Sable Ward from Dead by Daylight talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's a shame, but I I genuinely don't know why that's happening. I haven't had camera issues since I don't know when. It's been, months that I've gone without having that problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I'm
jeez.
sorry about that.
It's fine.
That's really weird. That actually might be a death. That's crazy. He just
Ooh.
staggered me as I rode past him. That's like
Wait,
really
is that a-
unlucky. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've ridden past that enemy on torrent and he's never touched me. I guess maybe I just rode slightly too close to him by accident, or maybe that was I don't know. That could have been RNG, but yeah, in every single practice run I've done, that's never happened. Oddly enough.
Yeah, I'm thinking you may have just rode too close then.
Oh, there's your once in a marathon kind of thing there. Always happens.
Yep.
Honestly, that's fine. If I have like a random death like that, that kind of isn't gonna bother me. The main thing I want to avoid is just dying a ton of times to bosses. I'd like to keep like deaths to bosses like probably maybe like below 5 deaths throughout the whole run and in active fighting anyways.
Yeah.
Something like that, there's just quite a few enemies in this game and sometimes little oddball things just happen. Okay. So I grabbed another item for the run, and that was the one I was talking about earlier that'll allow me to put frostbite on my weapon later on. And now I just warped on back to go ahead and get that first half of the Dectus medallion. Yeah, with Elden Ring, there's like a fair amount of downtime, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. But yeah, once
Oh,
we get
yeah.
the setup going, then yeah, it'll be pretty much
A lot
constant
less
fighting after
downtime.
that.
It's actual
Yeah.
showtime.
Yeah. This is just set up for the setup, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, we did get a couple of like fights in there, but yeah, I'll have an area or two that I need to like sprint through, and yeah.
Ain't the most interesting thing to watch, but it's gotta be done.
Oh, that bear.
That's okay. If he hits you, then, I mean, generally, he's gonna have a hard time killing you before you make it into this tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
The Axe Talisman, while, not a required thing, I mostly just came here to grab those flowers, which is the other ingredient in the sleep pot recipe. So, the flowers were pretty much the essential item there, and then there's just like a little bit of a convenience grab, right there as well.
Yeah. But what does the X Talisman do again?
It does the exact same thing as the like the charged crystal tier, which is making your charged heavy attacks, which are pretty much your slowest attacks, do additional damage. And those two things will stack. I believe they're either both a 10% increase in damage, or one of them might be 15%. But buffs will actually stack with each other multiplicatively in this game. I missed that jump, which I'm just gonna go ahead and skip that jump. Then it's not really worth attempting multiple times for probably maybe like a 1 second or half second time save anyways. But yeah, so having multiple buffs to the same type of attack, they'll multiply together, and it's a pretty significant increase in damage then. So grab this. And What's up?
I was just gonna say that's the first half of the medallion.
Yep. The one of the first like required items. And taking this little teleporter here will take me to a separate region of the game known as Kaled. And pretty much the area that is just covered in like sort of dead, rotting plants and stuff and monsters, you know? It's a fun time. But coming here will allow me to get the second half of the Dectus Medallion and also grab this little golden seed along the way.
Oh, if you. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say golden seeds are the item in Elden Ring that allow you to get more healing flasks, so it's quite useful to grab
I
those.
was gonna say that.
I beat you to it. But of course, like if you do not have very many flasks, then you know you'll definitely have a pretty rough time surviving in a lot of your fights, unless you're like a hitless runner or speed runner, which I mean hitless runners are just have essentially every single you know attack fully memorized of a boss's moveset. They know every possible thing that boss could do. Which I mean, I have a similar level of knowledge, but I don't have the practice to really implement that into the run. So you know, I do have to bring in you know healing flasks to be able to perform consistently. And speedrunners, they tend to have a lot of like scripted kills, which is pretty much like planned out kills. Or the second you walk into the fight, you have a pretty strong prediction of what the boss's first attack is, and then from that point forward, every single thing is already planned out in advance. So the boss, you know, has like maybe one of two things it does at the very beginning of the fight. You respond with a attack that you have memorized, and from then on out, it's just following like a kind of a cookie cutter formula kill. Um, so you know, speedrunners you know don't really need healing flasks if they have practiced enough because they essentially are just controlling the entire fight from the second they come in. Um, you know, anticipating every move in advance, planning the whole fight out. So that was the second half of the Dectus Medallion. So I already have everything I need in this area, but grabbing that golden rune will just give me, like, a pretty big jump in money. So another, like, convenience item pickup that'll just help later on. Quitting out here, it might seem strange to anybody who doesn't watch, like, speedruns, or nobody who tries to be like efficient in the game. But quitting out allows you to get rid of the aggro on a bot or on an enemy. So, you know, you essentially just respawn back in and you know, that allows you to immediately teleport out. You don't have to deal with the enemy attacking you anymore when you spawn back into the game. So, you know, there will be multiple times where I, you know, use that trick to just, like, traverse an area a bit faster. Got a couple of level ups in. The next thing on the little shopping list is, will be a boss kill. It is, it is the Crystallion boss, which will just allow me to get guaranteed weapon upgrades, which, you know, is another very essential thing in the run to, you know, keep up my actual damage. Or else, you know, my DPS will fall off, like, substantially. Yeah, this is getting a little bit closer to the end of the like pre-setup steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are getting soon or getting close to the straight up boss kills.
So we've done all the routing. We got all the ingredients. They're ready to cook. Oh, almost.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially, there's very few things we kind of need to grab now.
All you just need to do is go get the boss, get the bell bearing, and think.
And cook.
Yeah,
It's kind of
you
funny.
need to
Do
do,
you ever or what? Go ahead.
you need to do a Walter White.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's kind of funny if you ever play this game and you follow that main trail perfectly. You know run or ride torrent right alongside it. You will almost certainly get killed by those lobsters because they will just shoot you from like a mile away. Like the internet memes about it that they have like sniper
Yeah.
rifles basically.
Which
But if you veer off
they do,
slightly,
honestly.
huh?
I think they do, to be honest.
Yeah, but if you veer off like slightly to the right, like I did there, and just go around the lobster, for whatever reason, you can basically touch the back of the lobster. But as long as you go behind him, he just doesn't wake up. But yeah, if you make the mistake of going in front of it, oh yeah, you will certainly regret it. You'll definitely have a pretty high chance of dying.
Yeah, you'll know how it feels like to be on the receiving end of Carl Fairburn's wrath.
Who?
Yeah, the Sniper Elite protagonist.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. Alright, so here, there's a little skip that I'm gonna go ahead and attempt. Nice. Okay.
Hey,
First try.
the skip dude.
So, jumping on that rock right there, I mean, not a tremendous time save, but, you know, definitely helps from not having to go down, like, basically a giant flight of stairs every time you need to leave that area.
Not to mention the style points as well.
Yeah, it's a little cool, but yeah, you save like maybe a couple seconds. So going over here, this is where the next boss will be, the Crystallian that I was talking about. So we're pretty much just gonna entirely sprint through a dungeon, go straight to the end, and yeah, get the upgrade materials we need from killing them.
Which, the materials he is going to be grabbing is Smithing Stone +1 and +2, which allow him to upgrade his weapon to +9? Or +8?
It actually is only to +6.
Oh,
To get past +6, you would have to grab the next material, Smithing Stone 3s, which,
okay.
there are actually a couple of those in this dungeon, conveniently. So by the time I leave this area, I believe my weapon will be +7. And
Okay, gotcha.
you know, that'll be kind of the first, I guess, like, checkpoint, you know, where we'll kind of stop grabbing build-related items and start killing things with that. You know, that's when we'll go to fight, like, Margit, you know, with the +7 weapon.
To quote a certain Anakin Skywalker, this is where the fun begins.
Who's Anakin Skywalker?
He
Star Wars.
is a character from Star Wars.
Is your father by any chance?
No? That'd be Luke Skywalker.
Man, that's kind of a shame right there. I was really hoping I would get lucky, because it is just hilarious when that enemy jumps down after you take the elevator, and he just plummets to his death, and just kind of, like, pancakes on the elevator. Usually that happens, but yeah, right there, I don't know, it's kind of sad, but he did not pancake.
Also, isn't Anakin
I guess you could
Skywalker
say you
Darth
were-
Vader?
Yeah.
So right there was the Smithing Stone 3s that I was referring to. That allowed me to get to +7. We got to get Smithing Stones 1 and 2 first from the boss.
Gotcha. And I guess you could say to that enemy earlier, I guess you were hoping on his downfall.
Yeah, yep. This boss is extremely interesting. For starters, if you do any damage to them, it'll permanently weaken like their crystal armor. You know, they cannot recover their poise. But then from that point on, you know, you've essentially just cracked their armor permanently, and it becomes like the most bullyable boss in the entire game. Like, I could just unequip my weapon and smack him with my bare fists, and like, he would not be able to do anything. You know, as long as I am properly keeping up my attacks and interrupting him every single time he starts an animation.
Yeah. Another thing you could do is just simply use a blunt weapon. But where's the fun in that?
Yeah, technically my weapon it does slash damage, and that would be considered a suboptimal damage type for that boss. But once you get the first stagger, it just becomes like a total meme. It just doesn't matter what you're doing. You could kill him with like random throwing knives after that point.
I thought they only did like 10 damage though.
They do scale with your stats, so you definitely can get more damage.
Okay,
I mean,
so it's just my stats are kind of terrible for them then. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, dexterity is the highest scaling stat for a lot of like throwing knives, like kukri, and you can get like pretty decent damage out of that for sure. Like, it is possible to make it viable.
But honestly, they're more useful for just keeping their poise down, I feel. Because, after a while, like, of you not damaging a boss, their poise will go down. But throwing a kukri at them kind of just says no to that.
Yeah, you deny them any recovery. Cool. So we just got the weapon to +7. So honestly, I'll go ahead and rush Margit and Godric then.
Yeah. Now, this is the stuff you've been waiting for, chat.
Yep. So going in just with a few level ups into health to kind of have a little bit of a safety net, but then also having a weapon be a little bit upgraded just to speed things up. Now, if you remember what Clad was talking about earlier, Margit is a bit of a funny fight. My weapon does 40 poise damage to their stance if I use like its strongest attack, and Margit's overall stance is only 80. So if I just do it twice, then he just falls down.
Yeah, Skull here's gonna employ some cheese on this boss.
I honestly wasn't... I didn't really realize he was going to get staggered right there. I thought maybe I would have to hit him one more time. So he's already hitting phase 2, so he's guaranteed to do this jump. Oh wow, of course he would back up right there. Okay,
There we
stagger getting the riposte off, which will heal me to allow me to keep up the offense. And I mean, there's the final hit. He's dead, so all good.
Now, Skull does get another talisman pouch, so you can equip 2 talismans at the same time now.
Yes, sir. So we're going straight to Stormvale Castle, which is where Godric is, the next boss. So we talked to that NPC. We can open up the gates.
Might as well grab that grace right there, because the gate's still opening.
Yep, we can get a couple easy level ups in. We equip another talisman. I'll go green turtle on this one. I hear this is kind of funny. I have to like kind of just bob and weave and pray for the best to not get hit by those ballistas. I'd say 9 times out of 10 I don't get hit by those, but occasionally it seems like it's a little luck based, but I don't know, that might just be me like messing up the movement, honestly. It's a lot of kind of random enemies just to sprint past in this area. Right there, you can see what I was talking about earlier, where if you sprint and jump, you get that, like, little tiny burst of speed, and that is just enough speed to make those enemies just miss me entirely as I get enough distance on them.
Looks like Skull is still going for this safety strat right here.
Yeah, I usually grab this side of Grace just because these birds, if you get a tiny bit unlucky, then they can blow up explosive barrels near you, and, well, it can definitely catch you off guard and, be a pretty quick death.
Yeah, explosive barrels plus the player is not a very good combo. In this game, anyways.
Yeah, you can get hit by their talons, of course, but yeah, it's usually the explosion and then maybe like one other hit after that that's already putting you at a pretty decent risk of death. So I'm going to go ahead and rest and get my health back real quick and get that additional healing flask from the little golden tree I just interacted with. Can buff up with my physic, and we're heading on into Godric. I love when he does this attack, because you can just kind of sprint around him like this, and it is just one of the most free hits ever.
Yeah, even someone of my skill level is like, that's a free hit.
Right there, unfortunately, the stairs provided just enough of an elevation difference where I was not able to get the riposte off.
Yeah. Right here, he cuts off his arm and replaces it with a dragon head. Which is pretty cool looking in my opinion, but this is the phase that Skull starts to bully him.
A little bit. Right at the start of Phase 2, if you set it up properly, you can just instantly stagger him right at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, nice dodge there.
I for a brief second, I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to get hit by that grab attack.
I have seen Skull get hit by that grab attack many times. It can be a bit funny, but it's also a bit sad.
Okay. And, yep. Okay. Pretty easy kill.
Yeah. GG. Actually, it's
Yes,
a bit early to be
sir.
saying that. Eh.
You have to wait so long for his dialogue right here. I just usually am just doing random animations to pass the time.
Yeah, because why not?
Okay, so we go ahead and do a fast little teleport back to Liurnia since we're completely done with Limgrave.
Yeah. Wait, what boss are you moving on to now?
So we're gonna grab the key to enter the academy real quick, and that key will allow us to access the Red Wolf of Radagon fight, which is required to kill Renala, which she's like the true target. We have to kill her in order to progress in the game. That, or you'd have to kill another Remembrance boss, like a required storyline kill.
Gotcha.
So Godric was one of two, like mandatory Remembrance boss kills, and Renala is just my choice, for the second one. Interestingly enough, a lot of speedrunners actually choose Radahn as the second kill. They don't usually go after Renala. I think he is just, a bit more efficient to kill, but I don't know. Renala is just so bullyable and, like, simple that it just makes too much sense not to kill her. Unless I became, like, a really seasoned runner and just ran, this game, like, constantly, then sure, I would eventually choose, like, a more optimal route. But honestly, fighting Renala is just funny because you can just kind of bully her.
You employ that cheese and not that cheddar stuff everybody's loving. We got that Gouda for this one.
Right there, you saw I had to quit out again. That was kind of unfortunate. Usually the dragon does not get aggro on me fast enough. Like, typically I can teleport away before he fully wakes up and realizes I'm there, but I suppose I might have been just a tiny bit too slow that time by maybe a second or maybe half a second or so, just enough for him to become aware of my presence and force a quit out like that. So obviously we are not going to bother, fighting him. It would take much longer to, reach a checkpoint or to evade him.
Yeah. And also that dragon is not a mandatory boss fight.
And no, not at all. He's just kind of there.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just gonna take a nap. Wait, someone's touching my key!
Yeah, yep, pretty much. Cool. So from this point, we'll just be grabbing just a couple of items along the way, but for the most part, we'll be basically just sprinting directly to the boss, past all these, like, random, extra, unnecessary enemies.
Yippers.
There is an interesting skip here that you can do. I'm just not consistent enough at it, where I am not going to do it this time. But you can actually jump around the side of the building and skip this entire room here. Which, it's not really, like, a big time save anyways. It's really just another optimization of, like, a few seconds.
Yeah, which Skull here is not trying to go for world record. He's just trying to show off what he can do.
Yeah, which, if I, miss that skip and fall to my death, then that's obviously a bit of a penalty there. A time loss that I do not need to deal with.
Yeah, but it would be funny.
For whatever reason, right there's two enemies sitting, like, in front of the door. And I don't know if the devs intended for them to body block the door or not, but if you just run to the left of, like, that zombie and then sprint and jump, you can just completely ignore him and jump right around his, like, body block. Yeah, I've always found that kind of amusing. I don't know if that's, like, intentional or not. I'd imagine, like, they probably wanted you to actually fight the enemies there when they made that section.
Fight or find some way to get them to get unclogged from the door.
Gosh, the amount of wizards in this area is just crazy. So this is the Red Wolf of Radagon fight. A bit of a glass cannon boss that honestly isn't, you know, scary at all unless I probably make around 2 mistakes like in a row, honestly.
Excuse me. Yeah, you can see how much damage Skull is doing here.
The only thing that's a little tricky with him is just sometimes he's evasive. You know, there are definitely times where he just simply does not want to be hit.
I do really like this boss, honestly, though. It's pretty fun.
Okay, buddy. Usually he does not, you know, get the jump on me quite as much. That is okay.
Yeah. This'll do it, though, unless you really screw up.
Yeah, right there I could have traded the final hit of that, or I could have dodged the final hit of that 3-hit combo, but, I mean, I knew I'd be able to hit him as he fell down there. I'm not too concerned about, like, taking hits as long as it doesn't cause a death.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, like, the cleanest, you know, no-hit kill of the century or anything.
Oh, come on, Skull. Why'd you shove that guy?
That guy, that magic blast, if you get hit by that, oh man. Dude, sometimes that takes, like, a good half your health bar. And so if you just give him a nice little smack, then you can typically avoid, you know, him being able to hit you then. Because I just staggered him, so he fell over instead.
Yep. Because that spell is basically a shotgun.
Yeah, pretty much. The boulder here, it's funny, on a first playthrough, it's an absolute menace. You'll just probably get squished by that quite a few times, but if you hug the right wall about halfway up the path, then you can avoid it, you know, pretty easily. Come on, Moongrim. There we go. Okay. Yep, if you do that, then typically he just falls down the elevator shaft, and, yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
He's one of the most annoying NPCs in the game, because he can parry you, like, insanely well, but if you just jump attack him right as you hit that elevator button, jump attacks are impossible to parry, and you can typically just barely push him off the elevator, so that way, you know, he just jumps to his death.
Yeah, and also you get one of my favorite shields out of it, too. Which, I know Skull isn't playing with a shield right now, but honestly, shields are kind of fun in my opinion.
Yeah, good old Renala.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 1 is, I don't know, interesting for sure. It's definitely not, like, the most interactive thing on the planet, but, that is okay.
Yeah. Hey, it could be worse, though.
Should be able to 2-cycle this if I do not screw it up. Okay, I did not have stamina there. I just barely, did not have enough to kill her. But that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just gives more time for them to throw books at you. No big deal.
Yeah, it's okay. It's, like, small time loss, but no biggie.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, it could be worse.
Move on to phase 2.
Somehow died on phase 1. Yeah.
Right. Right here at the
Phase 2
beginning, Yeah, this is my favorite because you can just ignore her attack and she just misses for no reason, pretty much. You can just sprint, stand right in front of her, and you're completely safe. Why? I mean, I don't know. So this boss being a mage, pretty much as long as you keep the pressure up on her and interrupt her from casting spells, then, you know, that's how the fight turns out. She's just helpless and bully her to death, I don't know, probably in, I don't even know how long that phase 2 took. Was that like 10 seconds or something? Feels like.
Have you even died to her on your practice?
Nope. I have 0 deaths to her on all my practice runs, and I mean, you can definitely see why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
she
part-
definitely does not provide much of a challenge as long as you just keep rushing her down with like physical attacks.
Yeah, I remember on my first playthrough, I struggled with her quite a bit because I just didn't know how to deal with mages, but now I'm just like, I sprint right for her.
It's
It's like,
funny because everybody probably struggles with her initially. Like, I definitely did, you know, where I was just getting slammed by all those spells, because she'll cast them kind of one after another, and then, you know, summon all of her spirits to help her out, but I don't know, pretty much as long as you just do not let her breathe at all, then, yeah, the fight is completely in your control.
yep.
You just
And
prevent her
also,
from
oh,
casting
sorry.
spells, essentially. But go ahead.
No. Also, that shield I was talking about earlier that you get from that one knight dude allows you to block 71% of that damage.
Oh yeah, the magic one.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we completed
Okay,
another
again.
region, we're just kind of doing more routing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
so we
More
gotta go
forced
grab the
gameplay.
next smithing stone bell bearing for more upgrade materials.
Yeah, which allows you to. Is it
Yep.
plus? Is this one +8?
This is plus 12.
Gosh darn it! I screwed it up again.
Yeah, so plus 12 means that my weapon will be about halfway upgraded. In Elden Ring, if you're using a basic weapon, then you can get it all the way up to plus 25. If it's a special weapon with like a unique skill, then you can only get it up to plus 10, but with like different upgrade materials. I mean, the damage like scales the same.
Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
honestly, I gotta say, one of my favorite weapons in this game does take that upgrade, the alternative upgrade,
The
which
somber
is
smithing
that.
stones.
Yeah, it's the rapier that shoots icicles
Oh,
for its heavy
okay.
attack.
Yeah, that one's quite good, and it has impaling thrust as its like main skill as well.
Yeah, which I used impaling thrust quite a bit in the first place, so why change it?
I want to say that weapon's called like the Needle, but I might be forgetting the name
I think it's
slightly.
called
It's
I think it's called the Frozen Needle.
Frozen Needle. Yeah, that's it. It's quite good. It's got frostbite on it, a ranged
Hmm.
attack, and a strong Ash of War.
The ranged attack doesn't have much range, though.
No, it definitely does not. But I mean, it still causes frostbite buildup, so it's definitely viable.
Yeah, it's a good attack. It's just not. It's not a sniper rifle.
No, of course not.
Yeah, no, that's a great bow.
So the next boss we will be facing is the Draconic Tree Sentinel. But yeah, like I said earlier, we'll just be doing a small amount of prep work in order to keep my damage high enough to really make the fight efficient.
Yep. Because right now, Skull is going to grab the Smithing Stone Bell Bearing 2.
Yep. The site of grace is a bit important, just to have one to teleport to and quickly get back on the routes when I'm done.
Yep. So yeah, that one is not a safety thing.
Yeah, that one's actually for efficiency.
But thing is, you don't need a. If I remember correctly, you don't need to fight a boss to grab this Smithing Stone Bell Bearing.
Nope. It's kind of funny, but you can just walk right in, and it's essentially just sitting there at the entrance for you. You barely have to do anything.
Yeah, all you just gotta do is hit an invisible wall down.
It's a little weird to me how they didn't even require, like, an enemy kill or boss kill or anything. You don't have to do parkour or, like, a puzzle. Like, there's just nothing. It's just kind of just sitting here in a chest for free.
Yeah. Which, if you're playing this game online, a lot of the community will have that door marked for you.
Yep.
So, if you're doing a casual playthrough after this run, bam.
Okay, so we
So
got that
after you
bell
upgrade your-
bearing we needed. I will just grab some golden runes real fast in order to have the money to upgrade my weapon.
What are you gonna do after you upgrade your weapon, though?
That's pretty much when we can just go to the boss. Yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha.
the Draconic Tree Sentinel, the next, like, mandatory kill.
I was gonna ask that, but I already forgot.
Is all good.
Oh, that's
This
a lot of
graveyard
magic.
kind of makes me mildly nervous with how that flower just spams a ton of stuff at you, but I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
actually died to it. It just is, I don't know, a little hectic. So I'll go ahead and do a quit out here just to get out of there and get back to the round table hold for upgrades.
Yeah, Diego the flower.
Yep. So we're an hour into the run, and we've killed, I believe, around 6 bosses, approximately.
Yeah. 6 or 7, I don't know.
And we have a mostly developed build where we have almost all the essential items except for the upgrade materials.
Yeah. Still love how you can do that.
Yeah, you just sell all of them instead of, like, using them individually and slowly like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you destroyed the table. Come on.
How rude of me.
Oh,
Okay.
looks like you don't
Yeah, I
have
do
enough
not
money to
have...
fully upgrade.
No, not quite. I accidentally spent a tiny bit too much money. That is okay. I can sell some of these other items here to, you know, get back into the swing of things. I know, peak speedrunning. Selling, like, random items.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Why don't
this
you
will give me
sell those smithing stones?
wild. Okay, so we got it to plus 10. Honestly, that's fine. I don't need to, you know, have it to plus 12 just to kill the Draconic Tree Sentinel. I mean, I can always use the runes I get from him to get it to plus 12, and that's no issue really.
Yeah. It's not like it's an urgent matter to get to plus 12.
Yep. Putting Frostbite on the weapon is honestly the best like damage increase that, you know, we could have gotten there anyways. You get a lot of bonus magic damage, but then on top of that, the Frostbite buildup will, you know, really make a tremendous difference.
Which,
But
what Frostbite does is it does a chunk of damage, and then, the boss will also take more damage after that.
yeah, I believe it is about 10% of their health bar, and then like a flat number in addition to that percentage. And it will lower their defenses, so they will be more vulnerable to any source of damage afterwards.
Yeah. Which, if you couldn't tell, Chad, is great.
Okay, I will go ahead and switch talismans for this fight. The Assassin's Crimson Dagger does nothing for this fight because you cannot get the riposte on a Tree Sentinel. A riposte.
But what about a Draconic Tree Sentinel?
It doesn't matter, you know, they're just on horseback and refuse to fall down for some reason, so...
Wait, is it the Knights Cavalry that you can knock off the horse? Or am I thinking of a different boss?
Yeah, the Knights Cavalry, for whatever reason, the horse has an entirely separate health bar, so you can kill the horse and just leave the rider on the ground, and you know, he'll be susceptible to a riposte. But the Tree Sentinel, oddly enough, like, they share the same health bar. You cannot kill the horse without killing the knight. They're just, like, one and the same, I guess. Alrighty. This is another low poise boss that is bullyable if I perform it correctly.
Yeah, but like Skull was saying, you can't get the riposte on it, or riposte? I don't know which.
To be honest, I don't really know what the proper pronunciation is either. Riposte or post, I mean, we get the idea.
Ooh.
So right there, that's, like, completely fine. I just took that hit to get in another attack on him.
That was intentional damage right there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna play it safe and heal up real fast. See, that might hit, yeah. That's the stagger.
Oh.
That was honestly an extremely risky choice by my part right there. I honestly should not have done that. If I had missed that attack, I would have been dead, 100%. But, I don't know,
The
we
risk
take
paid
this.
off,
I
though.
didn't miss.
I know. Crazy that the Elden Ring speedrun or Elden Ring challenge runner didn't miss.
I'm sure I'll, like, fumble at least a couple of times against some bosses, but, you know, hopefully not.
Oh, looks like they already replaced that table you broke earlier.
Yeah. Let's see, my weapon was plus 10, I believe,
10.
so I need, I think 9 of those smithing stones.
I didn't want me doing much, just lay out.
Cool, cool.
Ooh.
So we got that. And while we're here, we can grab another talisman pouch from the round table hold. Let me see. I might have to put a point in endurance. I'm not too sure.
To become the thing as much. Now become.
Cool. Okay. Can throw on the Assassin's Crimson Dagger. Cool. We can go straight into the capital now, and move on to Goldfree, aka Golden Shade Godfrey.
Mm-hmm. Which Godfrey is a pretty fun fight, honestly.
Yeah, he's not too bad. I'd say most of my deaths to Golden Shade Godfrey was just me being like too greedy, too aggressive, and attacking when I shouldn't. It's, you know, his moveset is definitely not hard to deal with. It's just, you know, if you get a little too ambitious, then that can cause you to die against him. Other than that, it's like, it's kind of a free fight.
Yeah. And also, you're fighting a golden ghost, so that's cool.
Yeah. The only thing about him that you could really consider to be, I don't know, maybe a mild roadblock, depending on your build, is that since he's essentially just a spirit, he's immune to status effects.
Yeah, which, for my build, that was like a pretty big deal, but for somebody else's build, that's probably not. Skull's build, I don't think that's really too big of a concern.
Nah, I mean, we have Frostbite that, you know, will not work against him, but it's not like an essential part of the DPS. We certainly don't need it to kill him. It's just kind of an additional aid for most boss fights. We still have 312 damage, and then, you know, the talismans to buff us, like the Shard of Alexander. There's only a couple of key item pickups in this area. One of them will be at this Erd tree that's gonna just drop down here. Erd tree avatar. He just drops a Lord's Rune, which is worth 50,000. So killing him is just essentially like a coin purse kill. He's just worth it for some level ups.
Yippers. And it's not like the boss is too hard or anything. Well, it's not even a boss, it's just technically a regular enemy.
Yep.
Nice stagger there.
Thanks, man. It's interesting, he might have hit me there, but also one of the tricks of jump attacks is that if you do the jumping heavy specifically, then you'll notice your character kind of like plunges at the ground, and basically, I don't know, he's kind of like on his knees for just a second or so, and that'll lower your hitbox. So if an enemy's doing like a horizontal swing, and it's not like relatively close to the ground, then a jumping heavy is actually enough to be an attack that also gives you just enough of like a change in your posture to make them miss entirely as well.
Yeah.
Put a few more levels into strength there just to get a little bit more damage, and then we are off to the boss.
Hold on, I'm gonna be right back. I need to go to the bathroom.
This is all good. This particular section, I mean, we just gotta climb this little, well, little dragon, huh? Let's do a few jumps. Up ahead, there is another golden seed for getting more healing flasks, and then also another talisman that is like extremely good for the run. Which that is the ritual shield talisman. Personal favorite. The ritual shield allows you to get an additional 30% resistance to any form of damage on the next attack, as long as you're at maximum health. So, you know, if I'm able to consistently keep my health bar up and pretty much always be at full health after each attack, then that'll just give me a ton of survival ability, essentially. So it is a really useful item pickup that really isn't that far out of the way. Just kind of up this path a tiny bit. It's always mildly amusing when, like, an enemy is placed strategically in front of a key item or an important item, and then you just kind of don't care, and you just ignore him. You know, he doesn't do a very good job at guarding. Run right past him. Although they were chasing me, so that was another time save quit out there. But also, you know, I don't want to risk them hitting me. Since I did take a tiny bit of damage there, it makes more sense to me to go ahead and play it safe, quit out, return to the checkpoint, and get my health back up. And now that everything's all reset, and we've acquired all the items we need, we can just go to the boss. Let's see. I can go ahead and put that on. Just sprint past all these guys. It's a lot of Elden Ring speedrunning, which is just ignoring enemies entirely. Welcome back. I am now at gold free. See if he throws his apps at me here. I guess not.
I guess he technically threw his axe at you.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's right there. It honestly doesn't matter if he hits me right there, because I knew that I was close to the stagger. Is that you, Marky?
Oh, was that a Marky snore?
I think that might have been him snoring. Honestly, I'm not too sure. It's okay, I know my gameplay's not that exciting, huh?
Yeesh.
Oh, okay, so unfortunately my jump did not help me there. I was still in his hitbox of his attack there. But there's the stagger. Should be able to just kill him with this, right? Yep, okay.
For a second there, I thought you didn't kill him.
that could have been interesting if he had survived that.
Yeah.
Am I heavy load by chance? Nope. Okay. Cool. So go ahead and keep pumping up that strength stats. Next up, we got good old Morgott.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite bosses, to be honest.
He's more or less the same as Margit, but with some extra fancy things mixed in. His stance is still exactly the same at 80, and the same rules apply where if you play intelligently, then you're able to stagger loop him and just keep him from fighting back. Which I've kind of had mixed results, pretty much just due to user error. It's like entirely my fault. But his attacks are also quite fast, so sometimes he catches me a tiny bit off guard with that and prevents me from staggering him. So we'll see if I make a little mistake there or not. He's kind of easy to... Wow, that Black Knife Assassin chased me the entire way. I'm gonna go ahead and just heal, actually, so I have Ritual Shield up.
Hey, we're at the end of the game.
That's the first hit.
What?
I fell asleep for 15 minutes.
We could tell.
Yeah, we heard you snore.
Yeah, I remember the timer being at 107 and I woke up with a 121.
Yeah, I guess the timer's more helpful than just timing Skull's run.
Anyways, what's happened so far? Give me a recap.
Not too much. I mean, I can let Cloud speak since I'm in a fight.
Yep.
Well, what... Basically, Skull kind of just defeated, the Gold Free.
Hmm.
And I went to the bathroom.
Hmm.
So...
Okay, he is keeping on the pressure fully here.
Yeah, I'd say him having 80 poise in this fight is a lot more fair.
He's definitely one of my, like, worst, or, like, weaker fights in the run. Okay, I pretty much can't get hit again or I'm dead then.
Oh, you're out of healing?
Yep. Okay, right there, yeah, he did, like a really fast attack combo and just barely got it off before I hit him with square off. If I had managed to get that off, then that would have been a stagger. It's the first death to a boss. The real first death was the land octopus that just randomly like smacked me as I rode past him.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I kind of forgot about that.
That's all good. But yeah, Morgat, I don't know. He's interesting. It's kind of tricky to get in those punishes. He doesn't leave you a lot of room. He's really good at just being combo heavy. Okay. Try to keep my health up here. I'm gonna see if I can keep his poise low with the kukri.
That hit?
Yep. Okay, no, a lot of his posture did reset there, unfortunately. Okay, there's a stagger, though.
Nice!
Once you get an initial stagger on him, that is really when the pacing of the fight turns into my favor. He's guaranteed to do that attack when his health bar gets to a certain percentage, about like 60% or so, and you can just get a guaranteed stagger again. Okay, dude, what is this? Like, what is that flurry of attacks there? Okay, get ourselves to full health. We can run in, punish this. That's okay if that roll catches me a little bit. Get back to full health. Okay, boom, he's dead.
Way to go.
Thank you. So yeah, I don't know. He's interesting. If you get bad RNG, then he basically just feels like non-stop combos, like just flurries of attacks that are definitely hard to deal with. But you can see there, if he like pauses for a second and lets up on the aggro, then you can just completely turn the tables on him and basically just not let him fight back from that point onwards. So this is a little bit of required dialogue.
A husk, the only way and become my purpose. So I'd like to the flame.
Let's try to skip through this as fast as possible.
That's all you can really do.
Yup. And then we do a little fast warp back. And that'll put us closer to the next region there, the mountaintops of the giants. I'm specifically not leveling up because I need these runes later on to be able to actually upgrade my weapon.
Yeah, let's just hope you don't die.
Oh, I mean, this is like not a dangerous section of the game.
Yeah. Well, it is if you're not speedrunning, which obviously Skull is, so.
I mean, sure, if you fight every single enemy then and you put yourself in danger, then, you know, of course, then there's always a risk of death. But since, you know, speedrunning Elden Ring essentially makes it a boss rush simulator and we kind of ignore all these enemies, then there's really, like, not a whole lot of danger. Except for when, like, an enemy really catches you off guard in the early game, like that random octopus did.
Octopus, yeah.
But it's honestly pretty infrequent.
Yeah. Well, I don't even almost got you. Seems. I don't know.
He like could get a hit off on me as I'm sprinting, and sometimes he does make it to this elevator here, but he's an extremely easy kill. So
Yeah. Prove him there.
even just the light attack version of the Ash of War is enough to stagger him, as you saw. Honestly, even if you're using a slower weapon, you could just do a jumping heavy, and I think you're pretty much guaranteed to interrupt whatever attack he's doing, and I don't know, he's just a major freebie. He has no armor or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, I'm so glad I picked up the invigorating white cured meat.
Wait, what does that do?
I'm just memeing. I don't even remember what it does. It's a consumable that will boost your resistance to certain types of like elemental damage, but I don't know. I never even use it. But we can go ahead and just check it out on the elevator here, see like what it even does. If it's like magic and, you know, fire resist or something along those lines, or robustness. So that'll give you extra resistance to certain types of status effects, which off the top of my head, I do not know which one robustness is tied to. That could be like frostbite or poison or something like along those lines.
Oh. Also, sorry if you can hear my cat in the background.
Hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah. But yeah. So where are you trying to go now?
So if you notice, like, kind of the common theme of this run, when you enter a new region, you know, you have, like, a little bit of traversal, and then, like, maybe one or two key item pickups, and, you know, that's the same case here, where we entered the mountaintops of the giants. And we'll be grabbing the next Smithing Stone Bell Bearing, which is the third one. That'll allow me to get infinite Smithing Stone 5s and 6. So that'll get my weapon all the way up to plus 18. and after we get that weapon upgrade, we'll like sit down, level up, get a couple of healing flask upgrades along the path, and then proceed to the fire giant, the next like main storyline boss. So that is the shopping list.
Which the fire giant is such a fun boss.
I don't really like him. I feel like he's a little on the boring side of things. If you're not used to fighting him, then he is honestly very annoying when you're not like experienced with his fight. Because he's just known for having like a massive health pool. Like he is just super tanky. So, you know, he's definitely going to be one of these slower kills of the run.
Yeah, just because he has such a beefy health bar.
Yeah, and the main gimmick behind his fight is like hitting his weak points. And I mean, it's not always possible to do that, but if you hit him in an area that isn't a weak spot, then it is just like a pitiful amount of damage. It's like you're chucking marshmallows at this guy half the time.
I mean, nothing wrong with marshmallows, so those things are delicious, especially with the fire. But yeah, they don't do much damage.
Nope. It's crazy. There's some runs of like consumable only, you know, where people have only thrown like little daggers and throwing knives, and it is just it's like miserable to imagine doing that against this boss, where you're just getting like 30 damage at a time, and it'd be interesting to look up what his exact health bar is. See what that number is.
Isn't there like blood pots or something like that?
Yeah, there are pots that are I believe they're called like swarm of flies pots. Which you can definitely use those to, you know, cause bleed procs, but honestly, I feel like you're better off just getting a bleed weapon instead of like going around gathering ingredients or like flowers and stuff and then crafting it. That's kind of just a hassle. You know, it's a little inconvenient. I think you're better off just like throwing on a pair of claws or a good bleed sword or something, and putting on like blood flame blade, and you already are sitting at like 100 bleed buildup per hit with your weapon at that point.
Oh yeah,
and
that one whip as well that I.
Yeah, like the barbed whip or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's called the thorn petal whip.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the barbed
Honestly,
whip actually is a different whip. I think that's another one.
Honestly, I quite like whips in this game. I know, crazy.
See, I like wish I could feel that way about them. The only like real thing that's stopping me from feeling that way is the fact that you cannot get backstabs or riposts with whips.
Just switch to a dagger or something.
Yeah, which that's like completely valid. But then you would have to like upgrade the dagger as well.
Yeah, that is true. Like you get a plus 25 dagger with a plus 25 whip, but you want to use dual whips, so you got to do plus 25 for 3 weapons if you want to do decent damage. Or just ignore backstabs and riposts.
Yeah, I mean, you could always just go the route of just hitting them normally with your weapon once you stagger them, and honestly, that is a pretty like intelligent play if you're playing for status effect procs. You could just definitely bleed them as they're staggered by hitting them, a good 3 or 4 times before they get up. But I mean, the riposte damage is honestly just so like valuable that I don't know. You have to have like a very specific status effect build to really make like passing that up worth it.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like you get
Okay.
another flask upgrade. Nice.
The good old sacred tier. Okay, so now that we got a good little checkpoint, I can go ahead and buy smithing stones for my weapon real fast. It's mildly funny, playing for gaming on fast forward, and it's like, I just feel like I picked, like, the slowest game possible.
Well, technically, Richard's a
You
little
know,
slower. Well, it should be slower.
really.
Yeah, because he ran at 2 hours and 40
wow.
minutes. So if you finish on pace, you should be faster than him.
Don't pay me, I just
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's not really, yeah, the case then.
But just because you're not a
I'd imagine.
speedrunner doesn't mean you're not like least skilled runner. Like they don't correlate that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question that might be interesting to some people.
What is up?
What do you think takes more skill? Being incredibly skilled at a multiplayer game or being very skilled in a single player game to where you're like a top speedrunner?
Multiplayer game.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I would say speedrunning to a certain extent comes down to like memorization and you know, sort of, yeah, to a certain extent you're just doing kind of the same coordinated button presses after you've really developed the skill. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like memory and like a lot of pattern recognition goes into it. Um, but in multiplayer, you know, you're always dealing with like another human mind being paired up against yours, you know,
Yeah.
and the unpredictability of that and their potential skill level, the different like mix-ups that they can do, you know, is definitely something that keeps things like interesting and challenging. You know, like in Elden Ring, these bosses, when it comes down to it, there's only like uh, a certain like amount of moves that they can do, and then at that point, you know, I know like every possible outcome essentially, and I can
Hmm.
just plan for it and work around it.
Which some games that like sort of like Cuphead for example, they do require really good improvisation if you do want to play at a top level in speedrunning. But I feel like it will never quite capture like the multiplayer games level of improvisation.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like, don't get me wrong, you still have to get really freaking good, but just to be like just as good or even more in a multiplayer game, because like Skull mentioned, the unpredictability of a human, like you don't know what's going to happen in your run, but that unpredictability goes tenfold when you're in the race with another human. You have no idea if you're gonna even encounter them in like a multiplayer game. Like they might do like a boss in Cuphead for example will at least act in some predictable way. Like for example in Phantom Express, what's it called? You could miss two parries. You're like the worst cycle ever, but at least it's like part of the flowchart. But humans like they have no flowchart.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Honestly, pretty interesting though.
But I do think it is I actually, not this point, but I was gonna say the reason I'm so good at speedrunning compared to like multiplayer games is just because single player games were a lot more accessible to me.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. I pretty much exclusively played multiplayer like PvP games before I got into Elden Ring.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of like a mix of single player and multiplayer growing up, which for me, I felt was good, and that's why I'm not like honestly great at. I'm good, but I'm not like great at any of them, except for maybe Battlefront.
Okay, we got a little NPC fight going on. Honestly, Okina is a little on the tricky side of things. Like, sometimes he is very intelligent for some reason and, like, good at dodging. Other times he's, like, a total goober. It just depends on how he's feeling.
Yeah, which
He seems to be, like... I don't know if they programmed him on purpose to be, like, really evasive, but he just loves dodging. And, I don't know, it definitely makes it a little tricky to land attacks on him sometime.
also he uses the Rippers of Blood.
Yep. Yeah, the good old bleed weapon that makes that a little bit on the scary side of things.
Just don't bleed, lol.
Bit hard when someone slashes you with the katana, Mark.
I really don't get your argument, just don't bleed.
This sounds like
know
something like... This sounds like the Elden Ring community's argument where they just say, don't get hit. That's the community response. It's like, that boss is really hard, I keep dying, okay. Get good, don't get hit.
Mm-hmm. Man, Patches is such a hard boss fight. I am still stuck on him after all this time.
Patches, bro. That was crazy.
Mercy.
That's some like IGN level stuff.
That's failing the Cuphead tutorial level energy.
Oh yeah,
Also,
I know Marco knows all about that.
you all know a fun fact about this stream?
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up?
sure, I
I've been
guess.
streaming for 20 hours with a VPN in Taiwan, and I've only dropped 10 seconds worth of frames. I'm very impressed by that.
Oh wow,
That's awesome.
yeah. Shoot.
But yeah, the bitrate has been very consistent. I'm very grateful for that. Also, did I just like miss?
Right there, if you're wondering, like, why I didn't get hit, if you dismount on Torrent and you're in that animation, that actually gives you iframes for whatever reason. And so you can, yeah, get off Torrent and just kind of, like, perfectly dodge his attack like that.
Yeah, which... It's kind of funny in my opinion.
Yeah, it's extremely common for people to do the Torrent, dismount, like, dodge against him.
I just jump with Torrent to dodge that, really.
Okay, summoning another fireball. Ooh, okay, still got that hit off.
Nice, nice.
Well, that was a little unfortunate, but that is okay. He attacks very slowly, but yeah, when he does hit you, it is pretty awful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought he was gonna push me into the fire.
I still remember the strategy I did for this fight which was, when I got to phase 2, I just start spamming bleed.
Yeah, just like so fair.
It's like, honestly, I don't like this fight. I want it to be over with as fast as possible.
I dodged a little early right there. Can we get that phase transition, please?
Yeah.
This is definitely an RNG based fight where if you get unlucky, he just does this. He just runs away and backs up and keeps shooting fire at you.
Okay, now he ripped his leg off because I don't know why he rips his leg off.
I think it's literally just so that the Tarnish cannot abuse his weak spot. Wow.
Yeah, that's smart.
Right? That was really weird. I didn't even see the fire double hit me. I guess that was like a lingering hitbox, but I didn't even really see the fire still there.
Yeah. I guess you could say you're catching fire right there.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. That's interesting. I've never had that happen to me. In all my practice runs, he's never killed me. Yeah, I mean,
time for everything.
of course, that attack is certainly deadly because of its like large area of effect, but it was interesting that that double hit me.
I still find it kind of crazy that you could just get off Torrent to avoid that entire hit right there.
Yeah, for sure. And dying to him is a little bit of a shame, just because it is like such a slow fight.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it's a buffer strategy, but
I'll go ahead and heal to get the Ritual Shield Talisman back up. Give me that extra damage resistance for having full health.
Never actually used that talisman because I was like, wait, I need to be at full health to use this. No bueno.
Wow.
Oh my-
It's funny. Yeah, so right there, I to be fair, I did get hit by 2 separate attacks that time. It's kind of hilarious this is happening because I never die to this guy normally. I think this is just kind of a classic like, oh, I'm streaming, so now I I have the crazy deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got hit by the fire area of effect thing, and that knocked me down and comboed me into his other attack. That's okay. I'm like very comfortable and like confident in this fight. Those are just kind of some goofy moments, to be honest with you. I've not had that happen.
At the very least, you died early in that last attempt.
That is true.
Hey, you already got the ankle hurt thing.
Yep. So he already exposed his weak spots. Let's see, which fire attack is he doing here? I'm just gonna go ahead and try to
Looks like
preemptively...
ball. Oh.
I'll actually just stay away this time. That's Flame of the Fell God, I believe it's called. It's this fireball attack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fireball makes much more sense.
Huh. I thought I was a little... Like, I thought I was close enough to him to not get hit by that, but, that is okay. Okay, that's the good old ground fire move.
Surprised you didn't use your physic as soon as you got in the fight.
No, that's okay. It just means that I'll get to use the buffs for phase 2 then. Yeah, see right there, he usually is not able to catch up to me with that attack. And here, if you just kind of watch your step, that typically does not hit you.
Emphasis on typically.
Okay. Yep, and he just rolls away. My favorite. Gonna activate that fireball. Okay, so he perfectly synchronized his attacks right there. I'll blow that up real quick. Okay, there's that stagger I wanted.
I didn't know the fire giant could get frostbitten.
He can. He just has quite a bit of resistance to it is all.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Let's see how my RNG is this time. Generally with him, if you kind of hug his back side of the body there, then you will not get hit by a lot of his attacks, but we will see. Oh, okay. That is, like, super unlucky that he did that. The fact that he did that perfectly defended himself, so when I staggered him, I was not able to actually take advantage and get, like, in my free hits. Okay. Doing this. Shouldn't be an issue as long as I'm really close to him. Jeez. Okay, I need that other stagger here. Flame of the Fell God again. Okay, so he is gonna deny my stagger with using that. Yeah, the RNG here is not super ideal. He's moving around like a ton. That certainly makes it a bit harder to kill him. Have to chase him down constantly. Okay. Oh my god.
Oh, God.
My health bar.
Oh my god.
Okay. Flame of the Fell God again, huh? Be really nice if this could blow up already.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. I did not manage to get out of the way in time.
Dang.
That's crazy. Yeah, every single practice I've ever done, I kill him first try. 0 deaths. Huh. Performance luck, I'll say, I guess.
Yeah.
it's fine. We got an hour and Wait. Yeah, hour and 3 minutes until the estimate's over.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, you're pretty close to the end of the game, I think.
It's kind of wild I did not manage to get a single stagger in that phase 2 there.
Or, well, you did, but he just completely denied it from you.
Yeah, he defended himself perfectly with the attack that he did.
Now, chat, you can see why I don't really like this boss too much.
Okay. I'm gonna play for the Frostbite proc on him.
There we go. Oh, you got the stagger here.
Yep.
Let's see.
Thank you.
It's all good. I'll just try to focus up so we can get to the next boss already. Stagger, please. There we go.
Okay, you defended that one, but you actually got a stagger in this time.
Yep. That's okay that he kind of interrupted me from taking advantage of it. I'll try to get another Frostbite proc here. Okay.
Ooh, that hit.
Barely stood him that. That's fine, though. That's no biggie. I got plenty of heals. Dude, his poise is insane. It's like stagger already, please.
Ooh.
Okay, that was the Frostbite
go.
proc. Out of FP, that's fine.
Throw some knives.
Okay,
Nice.
there we go.
There we go. Finally.
Those are like the weirdest fire giant fights I've had in a while. Like, that was extremely weird, but that is okay. So I'm like, I know how to fight him, I don't know. I mean, I think some of that was my fault, but some of it was also just like, he was perfectly timing his attacks together in some really weird ways.
Yeah. Well, looks like we're moving on to some more interesting fights now.
Yeah. I'll
And
be
what were you
thinking
gonna
about
say?
that, like, double hit from that fire pillar attack. Like, that's gonna be in my head for a while. Like, that was crazy.
Don't fall off.
Yeah,
Got
that
up and got
was.
hit by it. Did you say something, Mark?
I said don't fall off.
I'll
That'd be
jump
pretty
off
funny.
right now if you donate $10 to charity.
Guys, do it.
Oh, dang it! I only have $9.
I will jump into the fiery pit if you help cystic fibrosis.
I have lost this world and death. Are you to commit?
Speaking of cystic
Are you
fibrosis,
ready?
we have actually, right, first year we raised $291, which was the most we raised out of like the 2 years that we did run. And this year we raised 537, and that's kind of insane. Just a little bit, just a tad
There you
insane.
go.
Heck yeah.
Cool. We are gonna move on to Crumbling Farm Azula, where I just sprint my way to Godskin Duo. Woohoo!
But what about the Godskin Trio? Dun, dun.
Dude, that would be that'd be wild if they had that.
Yeah, that would be.
There used to be memes online that was like, yeah, From Software is gonna add in like the Godskin Quad when the DLC comes out. 4v1 boss fight for DLC.
Is it bad that when you said Godskin Quad, I just thought of a Godskin Quad bike?
What the heck is that?
They're just riding around on a quad.
Oh,
Yeah. ATV.
Yeah, have you ever heard of a four-wheeler or ATV or...
I know the four-wheeler is.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
It makes me think of a meme too. There's like, you know, Lord Farquaad from Shrek?
Oh yeah.
There's a really stupid meme that was like Lord Farquaad riding a quad in quads or like whatever. Something like ridiculous. So yeah, like, of course the picture just has a bajillion Lord Farquaads riding quads. I guess there was like sets of 4 of them, like quads of Lord Farquaads on quads.
Playing quads.
The fall off was massive.
But you wouldn't know what else is massive?
The Lotte Parfait.
Actually, no, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, I don't know. You tell me.
Doesn't change the fact that
But you already
Lotte
did,
Parfait
so.
is massive.
The insane amount of money that we're giving to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's pretty massive.
Yeah. Yeah, I used my money I got from tax evasion.
Well,
Bro.
That's a joke. I don't
Just put that on
actually
a
evade
public
my
live stream.
taxes. I know, crazy, right?
It'll be really funny if this is just like a super cursed run and like the bosses that I thought were gonna give me trouble, I just kill them first try, and then like the ones that I never die to end up killing me, you know, like Fire Giant.
Yeah.
Keep things interesting. So this is where we use the good old sleep pots that we were talking about at the beginning of the run.
I do.
Oh, and I got so lucky. I just slept them both for the price of 1. That is perfect.
Yeah, that is, to quote Mark from earlier, massive.
Lotte Parfait.
Yeah, we stagger loop him and bully him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get bullied.
Don't forget his lunch money.
Yeah. Now we get his buddy over here.
Ooh,
okay.
not good.
That missed.
Oh, good.
Yup. If you're wondering why I'm attacking their corpses by chance, that is purposeful. You can get a little bit of, like, lingering hitbox damage off of them.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, so it speeds up the fight a little bit.
No. That animation he was doing there was actually to summon his buddy again, and since I staggered him, I just completely prevented that from happening.
Nice. Oh, there he goes
Nice,
again.
and you also staggered him at a phase transition, so...
Yep.
This
I can
fight's
hit him
going
with
really
this.
well.
This is one of those fights where it's essentially just a formula / script, and as long as you get that initial sleep pot off, then it's like cookie cutter bully time.
Yeah. Makes me think I should go grab the sleep pots.
It's like, that is like probably the most annoying and most disliked fight in the entire game if you do not show up prepared for it. So, you know, you 100% should just bring sleep pots and smoke them so you don't have to deal with like a 2v1. Especially there with Square Off, you can see it's like comical that like he gets up, he falls back down. He gets up, he dies.
Mm-hmm. That's the type of Gouda cheese I love to see.
When does time actually like happen on this time? When does time end on this run? Like when you beat Elden Beast? Or whatever it's called?
The way that I considered time to end was just when you mend the Elden Ring, so like you press Y on your controller and then the credits start rolling.
Ah, well, you can just tell me when that is. Like, just give me, like, time. Whenever
Okay.
you want me to stop the timer. That's how the tradition goes.
Time.
Sure.
Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, beat the game.
Yeah, the gods can do it with the final boss.
Little fun fact is these birds caught me off guard on one of my practice runs and killed me, which was definitely funny because on the other practice runs they like barely touched me, but there was just one of them where I got a oh my god, no, okay. He almost knocked me right off the cliff.
You're like, not again, or no.
I almost spoke a little too soon. I like jinxed myself hard right there for a second. I thought I was gonna die.
You're like, yeah, I didn't say anything, or you would have.
Yeah. If you're doing a hitless run of Elden Ring, then it is like completely mandatory that you bring a stealth item to get through that section, or you will definitely get hit and lose your whole run.
I could see why. And maybe X sometimes as well.
Hmm?
Oh, just making a joke.
Oh. Okay. Redeem some maroons and upgrade our weapons some.
Yeah, so you can go murderize this next boss.
How much can I get with 50k? Oh wait, I was about to buy the wrong thing. That would have been tragic.
Run's dead. Zach bought the skull bought the wrong thing.
Okay. So I'm gonna just see how much I can get out of this. We can get the weapon at least to probably 22, 23 or something. Let's see, I would need 10 more smithing stone 8s, which I could only buy like 6. I think I'll get 4 for the next upgrade, and we'll just have a plus like 23 weapon, and that's like totally fine.
Mm.
Yeah.
Plus 23 instead of like 24 is like, nah, that's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Besides,
could be worse.
I spent my money on upgrading strength anyways, which is just another method of increasing my damage, so I'll just come back later and optimize it, but it's kind of more or less the same.
Mm.
So either way, this weapon's almost completely maxed out. You know, we got about 500 damage per swing, and, you know, we're chilling. Up next is Malekith.
What's up next again?
Malekith. Yeah, the Black Blade, the wielder of destined death. He is another, like, Morgott-style boss, where he's kind of glass cannon, really chaotic, and just constantly attacks. But if you do manage to get hits in, then he's easy to stagger. That's his #1 weakness. I've definitely had my fair share of practice against good old Mally, so I'm not afraid of him.
Mm.
And as you say that, you're gonna die.
Yeah, right, brother.
Okay, that's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah, if you fought him before, then you would know that, like, he does that jump at the beginning. And this is another stagger right here, because Square Off is busted. And he's already dead.
What?
So that is why I told you, like, he's a lot like Morgott in the sense where if you let him play, then he's a problem. But if you just bully him, then, you know, he's the easiest thing ever. You can just absolutely obliterate him. He, like, how many attacks did he even really get off in that fight?
7,
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know. It's funny. He's very problematic when you're not used to him because he's super fast. But yeah, you get your practice in, and it is just kind of hilarious. I'm honestly really happy that I was able to do that for you guys because the fire giant thing was just like, that was such a weird incident. that kind of bothered me a little bit.
Hey, but
So
you
I'm glad that I
first
could
tried
show, like,
all the hard bosses instead.
yeah. So I'm just happy I could showcase some, like, proper bullying right there. Okay, so we got that last little weapon upgrade.
Oh, second to last, but last for the run.
Yeah, that's the final one. We never go out of our way to fully upgrade it, just because, I don't know, it'd be like a little bit of a time waste. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm so happy I got to do that to Malekith. I practiced him, but, like, that was even better than any of the practice kills.
Wait, why do everything be covered in ash?
If you remember when we killed the fire giant we rested at the site of grace at the top of the Fire Forge and talked to Melina. And Melina agrees to use the flame of the Fire Forge to burn down the Erd Tree. And when you... Or I think it's the thorns of the Erd Tree, but... anyways, you burn the Erd Tree, and as a result, like, you know, you destroy, like, the entire capital because it is right below the tree.
Wow.
So, you know, naturally, yeah, it's in complete ruin and ashes. So, good old Gideon. This is another boss that he's kind of a little more of a gimmicky fight, a little bit luck-based. He's very, like, spammy and annoying. So we will see. Sometimes he's a pushover. Sometimes, you know, he gets a couple of hits off and you just die like that. Yeah.
Wow.
I barely did not get my attack off in time, and he just has a insanely fast casting speed. And so, yeah, unfortunately, that does happen. The most optimal strategy for him is you just hit him over and over and do not let him cast a single spell. But in practice, that is a little challenging to do, especially when his spells have different casting speeds. So he's going to get his heal off. That is fine. Wow.
That's not fine.
Okay. He just one-shot me with that. That's fair. I dodged slightly too early, and that is the most powerful spell in the whole game. So that's totally fine.
I think this must have died on a ball. Oh, wait, no, Fire Giant.
No, right now, if I kill him this attempt, he's matching me for 3 deaths. So we'll see.
Yeah, but this fight's a lot quicker, it seems.
Oh, it's tremendously quicker. No. Oh, you healed. Of course you did.
Cheeky little bugger.
Okay, so we're gonna reset, but he's already low health. Wow, I had to have been, like, basically a frame perfect jump through the fire or something.
Oh.
I thought for sure I was going to take damage to the fire there. I absolutely was certain that I was going to take damage there, but that works for me. So yeah, you can kind of see what I was talking about there, where, I don't know, if he just manages to cast something, then sometimes just one little spell cast very quickly makes the fight get out of hand. But if you're in control, then he's very easy. It totally varies.
Gotcha.
I've had practice runs.
Armor set.
Oh yeah, it's pretty okay armor set. I've had practice runs where I've killed him first try, no problem, like, didn't even think twice. And then other runs where, you know, I'm on, like, death 10, just because, like, he decides to use, like, the most demonic spells one after another and, like, chain combo them, and you get cooked up.
Fortunately, this was not one of them.
Yeah. And right there, I think I also did a pretty good job of, like, roll catching him and just, like, doing the good old stagger looping strats.
Mm-hmm.
You just really cannot give him even a second to breathe. All right,
Is it better that the
Guthrie.
loot gremlin in me is like you should grab the items?
No, that's perfectly fine. Wow, he is super close to the stagger here. Look at that.
Nice.
I was really surprised that the previous attack didn't do it to him. Okay, so once again, stagger looping him, trying not to let him play. Little ring around the rosy on that one. Okay, that's unfortunate. I was still in my attack animation, so I could not dodge.
WWE level stuff right there.
Oh, okay. That was another mistake there. That's okay. He definitely does give off the WWE vibes, dude. He just body slams you, does these crazy grab attacks, and yeah, that's totally fine. I don't mind a death to him because I usually win reasonably fast against him. It does not take me a lot of attempts unless I'm just goofing up on stream, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You gonna throw your axe at me? Yup. That should be a stagger, yup. Get the stamina regen back up. Get a free hit. Another frostbite. Was out of stamina there, unfortunately. Okay. Phase 2. That hits, because I was mid-drink. Oh my gosh. That was crazy. It was a good kick. Oh, I thought for sure he was going to stagger there. Okay. Wow, he is good at timing those heal punishes. Okay. Okay.
Yay.
There we go. His phase 2 is a little crazy sometimes. That was not the cleanest kill I have ever had on him, but that is okay.
It works.
Yep.
I think that was second try, I believe, or...
Yeah, second try.
Yeah, I can live with
Plus-
that. I don't really need to beat everything first attempt to be, like, satisfied. That's cool. The final boss. Bosses.
The ender of Lily.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to this fight.
I guess you could say you've been waiting for this.
Yup. See, I practiced him a lot.
Holiday shows.
Yup, the stagger.
Nice.
Look at this little combo I have here. Assuming I don't screw it up, this is going to be kind of neat. Yep, into this, he staggers again.
Sick.
He gets up, you get another free hit. He's guaranteed to do this attack due to the, like, health threshold he reached. That's gonna hit me. That's fine. Ooh. Gonna make things interesting, Radagon, huh? A dunk on your face for that one.
Was that necessary?
Oh yeah, it was. I like this beginning too, because you just get the insta-stagger. Chunk down that health bar some. Are you really doing Elden? Or no, it's this one. That is some very interesting RNG. He has not done that to me in that particular sequence before.
Oh, look at
Okay.
that beautiful bitrate.
You love to see that, chat. Wait, can't you use Torrent in this fight?
You can.
Nice
Stagger.
stagger.
Thank you. He goes up into the air to do the good old triple reins. Let's see it. Getting Elden Stars, maybe? I might have actually skipped Elden Stars entirely. I didn't even see where he went for a second. Okay, well, he's dead. The stagger.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah. Baby.
We do the little jump for joy, right? Yeah.
You did it.
Right, and would that be time?
Time.
Yep, this will be time.
Time. 2:32:08. Entirety of Elden Ring in 2 hours and 32 minutes. Do you feel
It's
proud?
not bad. I do feel proud. It is not very easy.
Nice.
So are you moving on to the next runner, or should I go kill a maybe go kill Moog?
I'm actually. Oh, Mosky's on his phone. I was gonna say, I don't think the next one is awake, but he is on his phone right. Let me message him real quick.
Yeah,
Oh,
gotcha.
it just came on.
Gotcha.
Okay. I can wait and see if he is ready. If he's ready, that is totally cool. If he's not, I can go do like an interesting boss fight for the stream.
If he's
Yeah.
not ready, yeah, you can take his place basically.
I'll just try to, I don't know, kill 10 minutes or something, and
Jay says, "Okay,
Yeah.
give me a sec."
okay, so he is ready, I take it?
Yep, I suppose so. Alright then. Well, that was
Okay, that's totally fine.
that was wonderful performance coming from you. I did fall asleep during the thing, but kind of unavoidable at some point.
Sheesh, I didn't know it
It's
was
all
that
good, man.
boring.
Okay, bro. Anyways, Zach, do you want to give anyone like shout outs or do anything before like we wrap it up here?
I mean, I can just say that I'm glad to be here. You know, I've never done anything like this. I'm pretty new to speedrunning, and you know, I was happy to get invited.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able to do something like this with friends. Donate to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. If you liked watching the run, then I mean, I do have a Twitch that I stream on. You can come and check me out over there, XSkullcrusher TTV.
Yep.
So that is it. Thank you, Plaid, for commentating.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem, dude.
Have a good one, guys.
Oh, and if you want to see more Skull and Clad content, check out xSkullcrusher TTV on Twitch.
Yep.
Yes,
Alright.
sir.
And yeah, we'll see you for the last run of GoFF in a bit.
Okay.
Gotcha.